what up party people? Welcome back to the Knowledge Drop. A lot of people regard me as a footwork head. It's cool to get credit for something, but at the same time I don't believe in limitation on one style only. I don't believe in separation like that. Overall I think you're an ill b-boy or b-girl, or you still got room to grow in some aspects. And eventually I think we all do. We're never ready. Even though I've been throwing my own footwork battle for years, I still think it's more of a challenge for b-boys and b-girls. More than ending up in a situation where there's a million b-boys with only ill footwork and nothing else at all. So concentrating on one style only, I think it's just limiting yourself in vain when there's so much more that this dance style has to offer for all of us. Let me share with you a couple of stories from my past as a young b-boy coming up, so you understand better about why I dance the way I dance today. I started with mostly doing power. Like most kids, that was something that would catch my eye seeing breaking for the first time. When my knowledge wasn't deep enough yet to understand the beauty of the smaller details in the dance yet, I would only see the big power and the big moves that would make the people around go crazy. So of course, coming up as a kid, seeing breaking for the first time, ill power was something that I wanted to learn. Power was also something that I became really good at. I learned pretty much most of the ground power there was back then, simply putting in a ridiculous amount of work and hours. What was challenging to me personally, that for most of the power moves that became really popular during the 90s, such as Baby Mills, Halos, Flares, 2000s and 1990s, there wasn't really anybody who mastered them properly ever since the scene had died out in the 80s. So we were kind of like making a new wave and refiguring out how to make all of this stuff. So me and my first crew mid-punk rockers, we were on it. By the late 90s I was beasting. First time I came to Helsinki, the capital of the country, to break, I entered a competition. I did my thing, but I was getting no love from Helsinki. The b-boys of the city would yell, "Focus, your power is alright, but your footwork is whack." That was the mentality of the 90s too. The scene was not as friendly and welcoming as it is today. If you weren't from the posse, you were getting no love. So you can imagine what I did when I went back home. I worked on my footwork. I wanted to leave no options for anybody to diss me or say a thing. I wanted to be the best possible focus I could possibly be. There was a VHS tape that I got from Antopio a couple of years later that also had a big impact. Back then, before the internet or YouTube of the day, we would trade tapes. We would trade b-boy tapes. If I had something that you didn't have and you had something I wanted to get, we would do some business. We would even hustle internationally with this. Send out a physical letter with a list of titles of videos that I had to Canada, for example. Wait for them to send their list back. Send out the footage and wait for what I wanted in return. Sometimes it arrived, sometimes didn't. Antopio was my main footage provider. He had a whole wall full of VHS tapes to choose from. One day he would slip me a tape from an event called Battle Royale UK 1999. An ill event in the UK with Ken Swift as a host, younger Paul One entering the battle as well, with Tels One aka Rebirth from the Ground Zero crew. The tape also had interviews with the people involved. Tels explained his approach in a small interview that made a big difference. Check it out over here.
You can't forget us, never. We always leave our skills in that spot, you know. You're always gonna remember us no matter what. Because we got our up rocks, we got our footwork, we got our everything, you know. Power moves, whatever you want, we got it, you know. So we call ourselves universal b-boys, you know. We got everything.
Whatever you want, we got it. We call ourselves universal b-boys. We got everything. This again opened up how I saw the dance. Being dope in one or two aspects was not enough anymore. You had to have it all, man. No more excuses. And again, I stopped seeing dance as different sections. I saw the dance as one. Now, why do I love the fact that I started mostly with power? What I learned for power was two things. I learned momentum and use of force. Once getting deeper in the other elements of the dance, I already knew how to use strength in my movement. Learning flares from scratch, for example, you can't really get them if you don't figure it out. This helped me tremendously in my freezes, in my stacking, and overall, all of the other elements of the dance, knowing how to make them powerful. If I didn't know power, there was no way that my footwork would have the same momentum as it does today. All of the elements are connected and support each other fully. Your tops give you rhythm and funk to everything. Your freezes give you execution for all things. Your dynamics give you power for everything else. And your footwork ties it all together with style, flow, and creativity. I'm also mad happy I did that work in my earlier years. If I wanted to learn my power to get on that level, now in my 30s, it would be a lot harder to find that time and effort it takes. That's a huge amount of hours of work. I still do work on my power today, but the arsenal is there already and it helps me in everything that I do. Now take a look at your personal skills. Do you see yourself as a universal B-boy or B-girl? Or do you see some weaknesses that you can still improve on? Study your footage. Point out the sides that still need more work on becoming more complete. And after that, put in that work. Become the universal B-boy or B-girl you have the possibility to be. Being dope in one aspect was enough in the 90s, but today we can do so much better than that. We all have the capacity to be so much more than we think. Open up yourself from the limitations of your mind. Post a clip of yourself, a link to a clip of yourself down below in the comments. I want to see who's tuning in and also what we can work on in the future. That's all for now. Catch you again on the next episode of The Knowledge Drop. Focus signing out. Peace.